Understanding the home sale contingency. This is Bill Reinhardt, real estate attorney, and many times a client will come into the office to sign his contract to sell his property, and their intention is to purchase something else. They will execute their contract knowing that their home is now in contract. The next step for them is to try to locate another suitable property to move into, whether they're moving up into a larger home or downsizing. That will be their next step, is to focus on the next property. Now, when they sit in my office, I'll tell them that basically we need to make sure that before they go and purchase, that the transaction that they're selling is basically solid, firm, and without any further issues, meaning that the purchaser has a mortgage lined up, there are no title issues, and that basically it's just a matter of scheduling a closing. Well, common practice for most sellers is to go out the next day and start looking for homes. They're just excited, they want to try to locate their next property. Many times they'll call me after the weekend, having been in contract now on their sale for maybe a week, a few days, and they tell me they've located a property to purchase. So before we can entertain that purchase contract and put them into an agreement to purchase, I explain to them that it may be premature since it's still too early in the game with the house that they're selling, and we don't have word from the buyer's lender yet. Nevertheless, we can try at that point to do what's called a home sale contingency. What that is it's a clause that would be added to their contract on the home that they're purchasing, basically indicating that the purchaser is indicating that they are in the process of selling their home, and that their agreement to purchase is contingent on their closing on the home that they're selling. That's a clause that many sellers, when faced with that request, many sellers are going to say, why should I basically take my home off the market if I'm not being guaranteed by this buyer, by them signing the contract, that they're going to purchase my property? There's an outstanding issue, a circumstance that's out of both of the parties' control, which is whether or not the purchaser on the one that they're selling is going to get their financing. So many times a seller, when faced with that request, is going to say, let's move on to the next transaction. I don't want to give that extra contingency in my contract. However, depending on the real estate market, if a seller's home is sitting on the market for an extended period of time, maybe they will entertain such a clause. And I've seen in certain markets where properties are sitting and it becomes a buyer's market, many sellers will entertain this clause. It may be for a period of 30 days that we have to propose, after which the seller would have the option of extending that time frame for the contingency or moving on to something else. It may be where part of that clause indicates that during the contingency period, during that 30-day period, if the seller entertains or receives another offer, that they will basically have the right to notify the purchaser that another offer has come in, and whether or not that purchaser at that point wants to remove the contingency or allow the seller to sell it to the next buyer. So different ways to basically control that situation. The main issue here is the purchaser, as they go forward to try to buy something, must make sure that they're protected and that their down payment that they make on the purchase is not at risk of being lost in the event that the house that they're selling falls through. So basically that's the situation, and that's the way that must be structured in order to protect the purchaser who's looking for a home sale contingency. Uh, Remember, a home is your biggest investment for most people, and it's important to hire an attorney with the knowledge and experience in this field of law to assure that you will get the best results.